Welcome to Mindfulness for the Soul, your daily dose of mental health insights, with your host, John Tsilimparis.
Seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression that literally follows a seasonal pattern. It systematically appears and disappears at the same time each year. The people who are affected experience depression-like symptoms beginning in the fall, which may continue for 5 to 7 months until spring returns and the days become longer again. The symptoms of seasonal affective disorder is feelings of hopelessness, irritability, loss of energy, social withdrawal, oversleeping or undersleeping, decreased appetite or increased appetite, loss of interest in activities that usually give you pleasure, difficulty concentrating, and in very extreme cases, thoughts of suicide. One of the reasons why people suffer from seasonal affective disorder is that the decrease in daylight exposure in the fall months triggers the human brain into a kind of cerebral confusion. Hence, the built-in human clock, also known as the circadian rhythm, is thrown out of whack. Why this happens is not fully understood, but many scientists believe that the role of sunlight in the brain's production of certain vital chemicals is affected. For example, chemicals that are produced naturally in the body like serotonin and melatonin, which are key elements responsible for regulating mood and sleep. So, an increase in levels of serotonin occurs when the brain is exposed to sunlight. Accordingly, high levels of serotonin are associated with elevated mood, and low levels of serotonin are associated with depression and anxiety. Conversely, melatonin is linked to sleeping, and it is produced in greater quantities in the brain when it is exposed to darkness. So, shorter days and less light increase production of melatonin, which can cause sleepiness and lethargy. Therefore, more darkness, or shorter days, can significantly affect your mood. Approximately 1% to 10% of people experience seasonal affective disorder. It's most common in older teens and young adults, usually starting in their early 20s. The predominance of seasonal affective disorder varies from region to region. Naturally, the northern countries in the higher latitudes of the world experience very long winters with limited light. They are the most affected. Just like many different types of depression, the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder can range from the mild type to the severe type that can be very debilitating. If left untreated, seasonal affective disorder can impair social and occupational functioning, which could snowball into isolation, withdrawal, and sometimes incapacitation. Seasonal affective disorder sufferers are known to take more sick days from their jobs during the winter months and also tend to see an increase in appetite and an increased need for sleep. If you suffer from seasonal affective disorder, and you've seen this pattern over the years, here are a few tips to help you cope better. Number 1, spend time outside. Get outside as often as you can. Take a walk every day if you are able. If weather allows, take your lunch break in a park or at an outdoor cafe. On weekends, plan activities that will keep you outdoors. The more light you are exposed to, the better. Number 2, reach out to a counselor or a therapist. Find a trained clinician specializing in depression who can also help you examine potentially distressing issues in your life that might be exacerbating the seasonal affective disorder. A therapist may help you change negative thinking patterns that leave you in a state of worry or sadness. Perhaps these unresolved emotional issues could be adding to your depression. Number 3, make your environment sunnier and brighter. Open windows and blinds and remove any exterior obstacles that block sunlight from entering your home. You may also want to sit closer to bright windows at home or in the office. In severe cases, when a great deal of exposure to light is necessary, people buy light boxes and phototherapy lamps, which they sit under for up to 45 minutes per day. That exposure each day may change your mood. Number 4, exercise. Physical activity not only produces endorphins in the brain that make you feel happy, but exercise also helps to focus the mind on your body for a change. Remember, the mind cannot be in two places at the same time. Exercise helps to shift that focus. Number 5, consider medication. In combination with talk therapy, antidepressants can also help to regulate the balance in serotonin and other neurotransmitters in the brain that affect mood and energy. Medication is not for everyone, but for many it can be a positive game changer. It's something to look into, even if you are the type of person that's a little squeamish about taking any kind of medication. Over the years, medication has gotten a bad rap for many, many different reasons. But in appropriate cases, in small doses, it can be helpful. Here are a few tips to avoid if you suffer from seasonal affective disorder. Avoid too much exposure to darkness. Do not stay in bed all morning. Get up at a reasonable time. Do not return to your bed until it's time to sleep in the evening. Staying in bed too long means you will be overly exposed to darkness, and your eyes, as mentioned earlier, need to perceive light to secrete serotonin. Do not leave your days unstructured. Not having anything to do all day long could make you over-magnify small, insignificant problems in your life that you should not be dwelling on. Your mind needs to be challenged every day. Don't blow off your symptoms as unimportant. Never underestimate the power of a mental condition, even if it's mild. Left untreated, your seasonal affective disorder symptoms could escalate and get a lot worse very fast. Don't neglect your symptoms by trying to plow through your day feeling depressed. It is ill-advised to stay depressed all winter long. Also, don't isolate from others. Isolation from others and not reaching out and asking for support is a disaster waiting to happen. There is no shame in seeking support and guidance. The more alone you are, the worse the depression gets. Remember, depression loves secrets. And lastly, don't underestimate insomnia. Without a normal, regular sleeping pattern, your circadian rhythm will be off, and that can cause more depression. Do not try and wing it each winter day with minimal sleep spells of 4 to 5 hours per night. Even if you think you feel rested, your body needs at least 6 to 8 hours per night. Some people can get away with 5 hours per night, but it's usually not enough. I hope you found this podcast helpful. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mindfulness for the Soul. I'm John Tsilimparis, MFT.